in internet television production company on the market. Amp2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. Amp2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.TV.
Wow, this looks really great. Gosh, I've got to stop talking to myself. The Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of every month, 7:30 p.m. here in Boca Raton. De-stress, connect with intuitive abilities, laugh, learn about psychic phenomena, and get psychic messages? Psychic messages? Woo! Where's the price? Here it is. Only $25 at the door? Awesome! How do I sign up? Oh, easy. Go to HalleyElise.com. Nice. $5 off online? Oh, I've got to call the girls and tell them about the Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of the month. Great time. 7:30 p.m. Perfect. Have to remember HalleyElise.com for the Psychic Gallery.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Halley Elise Show, featuring your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise. She is an author, psychic, and media personality, and has been listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America. Empowerment psychic Halley Elise shares the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and magical powers of the universe. Follow Halley on her website at HalleyElise.com, and all her shows can be seen via live stream video. Now, here's your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? Welcome to the Halley Elise Show. As always, when I have a guest, I am excited and delighted, and you guys should be used to that phrase by now. Just came off of an amazing weekend. Some of you are familiar with T. Harv Eker. He had created, or I should say founded, a company that has to do with really taking good care of yourself so that you can excel in your world. And recently it was taken over by a different gentleman by the name of Adam Markell. And so, long story short, if you have an opportunity, look online at New Peaks or Peak Potentials or T. Harv Eker. You'll find some amazing information, amazing opportunities to really take good care of you, because I had a fabulous weekend. It's not the first time that I've done it. And you come back really exhilarated and really focused. That being said, we always need help in our world as far as focusing on making things happen. And we often wonder, are we doing it right? What can we do? How do we change? Our guest this evening is Bo Butker. And if you've watched the show for a while, when we were back on WRPBI TV, yes, I'm giving you a little plug there, guys. We had Bo on, but he was talking about his music. So this is a multi-talented, multifaceted being that you're going to meet this evening, who out of nowhere all of a sudden began speaking with angels, or should I say they began speaking with him. There's a book that came about from this, and I believe that was the purpose. You know, similar to the Hicks with the Abraham teachings, sometimes things show up in our world that we don't expect, and we are guided to do the best of our ability to share that information. So without further ado, we have the author of Gabriel's teachings. Yes.
Gabriel's Guidance.
Guidance. I want to say teachings because that's what they are, but Gabriel's Guidance is the proper name of the book. And Bo Butker, thanks for being here this evening.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So, you're waving at everybody? Good. You know, it's funny because, as I said, you had been on the air with us before on the other network that I was with, and we talked about you rapping, which, by your color, no offense, is a little bit unusual. We only had a couple over the years that are successful, and I know that's where you're headed as well. But your songs are inspirational, and it's kind of fascinating that you started with music that had uplifting messages, and then we're all of a sudden contacted by our higher realm. I wonder if there's not a corollary there.
There's absolutely a corollary. It's very clear to me that based on the reaction I've gotten from that song, Life Lessons, that song has had the most impact on people that I've personally released. And I know, based on all the channelings that I've done from other intuitives, that is the direction that I should really be heading in.
Okay, so when you say the direction that you should be heading
musically, like having taken the channelings and then putting them into a music form.
Oh, that'll be perfect, because then again, you keep delivering inspirational messages, and with music, of course, we tend to remember them better.
Correct.
You know, I think back to the time when the Lord's Prayer was put to song and it was on the radio, and it wasn't the entire prayer, but people still, when they hear that song, they don't even know what they're listening to initially, but they get very excited about the music because it's just inspiring. And then they hear and they're like, oh, look at that. So oftentimes through your music, you begin to deliver a message before the words are even said. Makes sense.
Correct.
Okay. So with I'm going to say the deliverance of the communication that you received, I know because you shared and your parents had shared the strange occurrence that took place. Would you share that with our audience, please?
Sure. So there was one day I was sitting in my room and I'm looking through my cell phone, and just out of nowhere I decided to look up the names of the archangels because I was curious. So I start reading the list and I get to the bottom, and my eyes get really wide, and I put the phone down and I have this urge to turn to my laptop, which is right there on my desk. And I type out something and I was like, that's not how I speak. Like, I know how I talk. That was not me. And I kept developing it further and started having more communication with whatever was coming through me. It was very clear that, like, I asked, I'm like, who is this? And I was told this is Archangel Gabriel. I was like, wow.
Did that blow you away a little bit?
It's understatement. Very much an understatement. And this whole ride since 2012 been incredible. My entire life has changed for the better.
So share a little bit as far as what do you mean by the better, in what way?
Okay, so for instance, I've taken the things that I've learned from those channelings and just brought them into my everyday life. It's who I was before was relatively positive. Beyond positive now. I'm very happy with who I am on the inside as well as the outside, and realize that our entire life is created by us, by our thoughts, like, period. And I'm very clear that the universe is here to help us. It's on our side, and whatever we think is what gets created.
Okay, now you know there's going to be opposition to those words.
Of course,
that whatever we think is created. I mean, a lot of people go, "Oh, come on! Now I would not have created a child with birth defects, or I would have not thought about losing my job, or I would have never thought about my marriage crashing, or getting in a car accident, or any of those things." You know, so how can you possibly say that is created by our mind? Now, those who know me know I share this type of information all the time, but it's nice to hear from someone else. So how do you answer something like that?
Something like that, especially just for example, when it comes to a divorce, there are things that happen that are lessons for us to learn as human beings, as souls, that we're here to learn. And so there's going to be times where things happen and we're not going to agree with it, and we're going to say, I didn't ask for this. Well, you know what? Your soul did. Your soul did, your spirit did, your soul and spirit chose this to happen before, and you technically chose for this to happen before you came here to Earth. Now, that in itself is a whole other discussion.
Right. And I was going to actually ask if you believe that, because that's what I teach, that we have a consciousness that prevails prior to coming into our physical being. And this is why also there's such a thing as reincarnation, and people remember things, that deja vu, and lots of different little, if you would say, occurrences that take place that throw us askew, that seem like they're familiar and yet couldn't possibly be. Or you have a family that is Oriental or Asian, I should say, and you are attracted to things that are Victorian, and you think, how does this happen? But it is that knowing beforehand how it is you want to conduct your life and what is it that you want to gain or learn. And I don't believe that we specifically create events, meaning I don't believe we create, I want a car accident. I do believe that we come in beforehand knowing that we want to learn certain lessons, and then we are open to those lessons coming into our world, and we match that vibration. So for instance, if you're having a really rotten day, and instead of shifting it, you decide to just focus on, I stubbed my toe this morning, and then I banged my head, and the car wouldn't run. It continues, and that vibration continues. So the next day when you wake up, you may be in a great mood. You wake up and you're like, wow, this is a great day. My life is great. And the kitchen catches on fire. You're going, I didn't create that. I was in a good mood today. But it's not always about that day. It is more about what's that lesson and how is it orchestrated and how are you in alignment with that. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. I also believe that while, we don't have control over everything that happens in our lives, we do have control in how we respond to it.
Yes.
And react. So, the kitchen, God forbid, the kitchen may catch on fire, as you talked about. It really depends on how we react to it. And there's going to be a bigger lesson there for us to learn than we may even realize.
See, I like that. Now, did that come from Gabriel, or was that something that you determined on your own?
That was something I determined on my own. That kind of in a way came from Gabriel based on all of the channeling that I've done. But I've learned that. And, I know something similar has happened to people that I'm kind of in a way connected to. And I know the lesson that they're supposed to learn from it.
Okay.
And it's like, now do I agree with something like a kitchen catching on fire? I personally, that would stink.
That would not be a good thing.
That would stink. That would be. I personally believe that would not be fun. But I understand what the lesson is there. I understand.
I have to interject though. You said it wouldn't be fun, but I was just thinking if you really like it hot.
I mean, I might take out a couple pork chops.
That's it. Just barbecue. No, I'm just kidding.
But there's something to learn from that, and being in the experience at the moment may very well be awful.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But I'm also very clear that things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Right. Absolutely.
Period. You could have the most fabulous life, and then something like that can happen, and you'd be like, "What happened? I'm not thinking in this way at all. Why did my kitchen catch on fire?"
Right,
so
exactly.
There's a lesson there. There's a lesson in everything.
We've got to take a little break. We'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show and our guest, Butker. You like that, Bo? Butker. It's going to be one of this evening's, folks. Please tune back in just a moment. Thank you.
Bob, did you see Halley Elise in the paper?
Who?
The empowerment psychic, Halley Elise. They did a 2-page write-up. The columnist was enthralled. Halley went right to an issue that she was dealing with. I'm looking at HalleyElise.com right now.
What are you thinking? Should we schedule an appointment?
Matter of fact, yes. You have issues with Sue and me, my business. Take a look at her background. It's impressive, and she has decades of experience.
I want to put it on my iPad. What's her info?
Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise. HalleyElise.com. 561-755-2166.
Spell it.
HalleyElise.com.
So it's HalleyElise.com and 561-755-2166, right?
561-755-2166. That's it.
You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Hello and welcome back. Okay, so I had a couple of faux pas there, but I'm blaming it on the fact that I was on a long weekend where we started, like one day at 8 in the morning and ended at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then it was the next day and then driving, and it's an excuse is what it is. It was just a boo-boo. That's okay. That's what life's about, right? Having boo-boos. You'll learn something. There you go. Okay, so as far as the book, you have to look on... You said Amazon, but for people who want to check out your music, for instance, the song Life's Lessons, there is a tab or a link or something on your website that can do that, right?
Yeah, if they go to www.beauraps.com, so it's BEAURAPS.com, there'll be a link to listen to the full song as well as to purchase the song if you choose to. But they can go to beauraps.com. And again, like she said, to check out the book. I'm sorry.
His faux pas.
to take what Halley Elise said, a fantastic radio host, you can go to Amazon.com and type in Gabriel's Guidance.
Can they type in your name? Because I know with my couple of books, if they don't know for sure the title, like they remember Gabriel, they could come up with 1,000 different things. But if they remember your name, they should be able to go directly to your book, I would think.
I would think so. I mean, I'm there as the author.
Right.
So I would imagine if you type in my name, you can, on Amazon, you could find my book. I've personally, I have to admit, I've not tried that. But the fact is that you can type in either my name or Gabriel's Guidance, and it's going to show up.
Right. So worst comes to worst, you can Google it. If you forget everything and you're like, oh, I know that guy's name, just go to Google and type it in. You'll come up with Bo's website. You'll come up with information for the book. And Bo and I were talking about him coming out and speaking at one of the psychic galleries. So you would be able to receive angel messages. Yeah, just good messages. Telling you at the gallery. So we have to discuss that date and get it on the calendar. But I would suggest getting the book beforehand. We could turn this into a nice little event where we have messages delivered by the angels, we do psychic readings, and you could have a book signing all at the same time. So think in terms of getting the book, Gabriel's Guidance, and then Bo could sign it for you. And you'll just have to watch the show and pay attention to the website as to when he's going to be there. Or perhaps we'll get him to actually post it on his website too. So then you can watch him and me and find out when things are happening. So give us a little, if you will, teaser as to some of the information in the book, because I know I read the first draft, which was not complete, and you didn't let me read the second draft, and then you published. So I only got a piece of it. So if you will, share with everyone, some of the information that came through, because I think sometimes people think angels have no sense of humor, that they're just all soft and fluffy, and that people relate differently to what is in actuality. So if you would, like I said, share a little bit for us.
Sure. So the things that are talked about in the book, it's a list. It's a list of life lessons. Things are explained in more detail. But it's things like this is not one of them, but something like
wait a minute, it's not one of them. We want information from the book.
I'm trying to, let's see. One of them is everybody, this is the very first one, everybody has some level of social anxiety.
Okay, and why would that be of value to humanity?
Because that would be value, because what I think most people should get or could get is that everybody is, because everybody is human and everybody has the same kind of thoughts, that we all have some kind of fear. Some people react in a certain way or react differently than, let's say, you do. Like, I react to fear differently than you do. I hide it differently than you do, differently from somebody else who's listening to the radio show, different from other people. So that's, I feel, the reason for knowing something like that. And it's completely okay if you do have fear. When you're in a big group of people, it's completely normal. Something else is that there is no secret to life. People, and it's been talked about forever, that there's some kind of like secret to life. Like, all of a sudden we're going to find this golden coin, like with Mario Brothers, and all of a sudden we're going to...
It's funny. I guess that's a game because,
that's a video game.
That's a video game.
That's a video game. So,
a little difference in age here.
A little bit. So, yeah, there's no secret to life. People think that we're going to find some kind of like magical answer in this magical, mystical book that we may one day find. And there's really no secret to life. You get to create what you want. I mean, that's what I was told, but you're giving me...
Right. Now, I know I'm making faces because I'm thinking in terms of a little bit of a contradiction here in the sense of there's no secret to life, yet the secret to life is the fact that you should be conscious in your life, that you should be aware that it's okay to make mistakes, that we live in a space that we think is real, but it's actually false. So the only reality is that we have the ability to, like you said, create it. And yet, wouldn't that be the secret? Somewhat of an oxymoron there, or if you will, trying to think of the best way to articulate this. The gist is, if you're saying there is no secret to life, then you have people who wonder why it is that things are not good. They don't understand that they are, if you will, in charge of their own life. So isn't that perhaps part of the secret?
It could be. I think what I think is meant by that is that, like I said, I think people expect there to be this one specific thing.
Right, so like maybe a quick fix or a magic wand that instantaneously the angel is going to say,
correct,
blink your eyes 3 times and you'll have perfection in your world.
That's
right.
So
that's not it. No perfection. It's more a matter of every situation has another situation. It depends on if you act proactively or reactively. Okay, so when you're giving those life lessons, how many life lessons are there in this book from the angel? Because that's interesting, too.
In this book, there are 98 life lessons shared, which I find very interesting based on that number.
That's what I was going to ask. Go for it.
Really interesting that there are 98.
Because?
Because it's so close to 100. And you would think that we're going to hit 100. Because when I was writing the book, I wasn't counting. It was during the like editing process I realized, oh my gosh, there are 98 lessons here. So the first book has 98. Doesn't even hits just before 100. Like just the idea of that is cool. I think that there wasn't 100. There wasn't 101. There wasn't even 99. There's like 98. Like we're almost over 100.
I'm going to add something to that.
Yeah.
If you look at numbers and what they represent, there's a lot of talk from Doreen Virtue as far as angel numbers, and if you look online, there's a lot of information as far as numerology. I'm going to just say in real basic terms because I don't specialize in that area, but I have an awareness that 9 represents life path and 8 is infinity. So 98 is pretty awesome. It's more than just under 100 or just, wow, we're shy a little bit of something. It really has significance. So that's something to consider.
Look at you.
See that? I'm
fancy.
Cool.
Well,
okay.
There's no denying that.
Tell everyone what it is you want them to get from reading this book.
What I want them to get is that it's okay. Like, we're human beings. We're here to learn.
So chill. Is that your message?
Really? Yeah. If I'm going to say that, like chill. Like, relax. It's okay. It's all good. And just know that nothing is perfect. I think people search for perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection doesn't exist. Let me give you a little secret there. There's no such thing as perfection.
That is the secret.
So, yeah, there you go. There's no such thing. So, learning these things, I know from my personal experience that learning all this stuff has completely shifted my life for the better. It's made things so much easier. It's made life so much easier. It's made situations that happen so much easier to handle. It's made dealing with people that I don't necessarily agree with easier.
Okay, so would you say Gabriel's teachings would empower the reader to handle their life with more peace, with less stress, with a better knowing that they have more command over their world, and that things happen, when things happen, that they don't have to take them perhaps as to heart or as seriously as they typically would?
Correct.
Okay.
I would agree.
Okay. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate because you have Gabriel's teachings on Amazon.com. Guidance. I am so stuck on that. Oh my gosh, it's teachings. You know what? It's 98 lessons in the book. So my head goes to teachings, lessons, and then Bo has the song about life lessons. And here the book is beautiful, and you can see it says Gabriel's fill in the blank. Guidance.
Gabriel's guidance.
and I'm stuck on that, guy. So if you go to look up Gabriel's lessons, you won't find it from Bo. You want to look up Gabriel's guidance. But worst comes to worst, remember Bo Butker, not Butt Butker, but Bo Butker. Your mother's going to kill me when she hears that.
B-U-T-G-E-R.
That's it, B-U-T-G-E-R. Okay. When you realized that you were dealing with the angelic realm, what was your first thought?
My first thought was, why me?
And from there?
And from there, it was more of like, what is the point of this? Like, why, like, what is it about me, and why am I being shared these lessons? Like, what am I to do with these life lessons?
Did you get the answer?
The answer is really just to, I'm one of those, I've asked this.
Okay.
Through channeling.
See, we're right on target. So, but you have a minute to answer.
Yes. So I've done this, and I've been told that there are 2,000 people on the planet who channel Archangel Gabriel specifically. So it's like, okay, so I'm one of those people, and as a musical artist and writer, I'm very clear that my goal is to spread
we, believe it or not, are at the end of time. But to sum that up really quick, definitely check out Bo Butker. And you can check him out on Facebook too. And one of the reasons he is doing this is because he is a messenger. And that's it. So thank you so much for tuning into the Halley Elise Show. Check me out on Facebook, online, and hopefully you'll join me for the Psychic Gallery the first Monday of the month. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program